10 now. 9 now. We just lost one. But we're going to be looking to bring a couple more on, maybe, hopefully, in the future. Some of the places that Black Warrior's done, we've done sloths 7 times. And 4 out of the 7 was done with a guy that was a promoter that come in, and one that was a lady that was a promoter. And we went in up there and we did tours of sloths with these groups as to how to bring these groups home. And it kind of was open up to the public, but at the same time it was open up to paranormal groups too. But some of the ones that was up there were Dustin Parini, Ashley Godwin, Scott Temperman, the Clinch brothers. There was quite a few different other ones that had come in up there at the time, whenever. But Sloss is about one of the best places that we've ever investigated. I was, before Black Warrior was ever formed, I was with another group, and as Nathan
that's where I met Frankie.
Things don't always work. Huh?
So that's where I met Frankie.
That's where he met you.
Yeah. And as you know, there's things that, don't work out, and first one thing and another with whatever you want to say with whatever groups. Then all of a sudden, then you find out later on it was probably a blessing that you did get gone, because they eventually start eating themselves from the inside out, and they started losing members real quick. But I mean, Black Warrior, when I did Black Warrior, I did it to make sure that the members of the team did what they were supposed to do and did it right the first time. But that's pretty much about how Black Warrior got formed.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. I had, when I first met you guys last year at Cahaba, I've been really interested in how your group had come about, and especially the name. I thought the name Black Warrior was awesome. I mean, I'm part Native American myself, and just that whole time period and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So sloths has been your biggest investigation. Do you do residential cases as well, or?
We have done residential. Yes, we have done residential cases. Some kind of like probably Nathan and Clara probably can tell you. There's some out there that you kind of just wish you never did show up to go ahead and kind of investigate a little bit and figure it out for your own self.
Right.
Yeah. But there has been several different cases that I've been on before that we have found out whether it was residual intelligence, whatever you want, but that there was something going on. Nobody could prove that it wasn't the light switch flicking on and off, because it needs to be changed. One of the places that we investigated, we found out that the home that was there was sitting on an old cemetery, excuse me, that was at one time supposedly incorporated by the city of Tuscaloosa, but they had buried patients from the local mental hospital there. And we found that out, and we got the video on that, had some interesting things happen there. But I mean, I've done just about probably any kind of investigation there is, and I've been a part of some of the most, I guess you could say, interesting cases, as Clara can probably clarify what that means. But as far as that goes, and I'm going to know exactly which one I'm talking about. So,
gotten some doozies
It's
here
okay.
lately. That's all I can say about that. We've gotten some doozies here lately.
Yeah.
Doozies.
Well, that's the reason why we send you and Nathan on those doozies first to find out to everybody else.
I am never taking another investigation that somebody else is going to try to hand off to me. I have learned my lesson.
But don't you realize it's more fun to do it that way because we can use you for bait and we figure out what's really wrong.
Well,
I could have died.
I would have missed you, Clara. I love you.
I love you too.
so a fella seeing grays the size of dinosaurs. Would that fall under that classification of a doozy?
Yes.
Not only ones that were sizes of dinosaurs, but he was also seeing them that were like 2 foot tall.
Sitting in his tree.
Sitting and hanging in his tree like monkeys.
Leprechauns. Okay.
No, they were greys, man. They were
Sorry. Wow.
and they would take pictures of them on their phone and go to sleep. And the little aliens would come in their house and erase the pictures off their phone.
I'm sorry,
So
guys.
they would have no evidence.
I actually know that case. I actually spoke to the gentleman, and
Oh, it was all Stan's fault. We see.
it was all me.
That was Stan's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys were closer, and I couldn't go that weekend. So
You could have died because of the Stan, Clara.
This place was absolutely in the freaking middle of nowhere. They were like 30 miles from cell service.
my goodness.
No gas stations, nothing.
The guy, when he called me, he literally said that he was his face is up in the window holding the phone so he would have service.
Yes.
And,
Had dirt floors, Stan. Come on.
Okay. Well, that rules out orbs, right?
Absolutely.
So yes, I think that would fall under that classification of doozy.
Yeah.
I think the grays they were seeing were their dirty children who had rolled around on their dirt floors, running around.
Oh my word. That was funny, Claire.
I've never in my life experienced it. Well, the next one was a doozy too, but the last two we had have just been
Doozies.
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 That's just the nicest way I can put it.
Were they all in the UFO or the gray formation there? I mean, is that pretty much what they were? Or was one of them actually paranormal? Or
No, one of them thought he was Saint Timothy.
Prophet Timothy.
Prophet Timothy. Yeah.
Get it right, man. He was Prophet Timothy, and God was talking to him and telling him what to do. And God was telling him that he needed to kill his mother and that he also needed to kill his sister-in-law, and that God sat on his shoulder and followed him around, and that God was tentacles coming out of his walls going into him. And what I observed was three very dark negative energies with their hands on him at all times.
wow.
It was just about to date one of the scariest things I have ever experienced, because I actually felt that it was possible that I could be in physical danger from this guy because he was so crazy.
So, did you guys help the outcome of this? I mean, did you do some sort of cleansing, or
No.
He didn't want it.
you didn't want it? Oh, yeah, your hands are tied there for sure.
Absolutely.
He liked the power it gave him.
Wow.
He was convinced it was God.
God don't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to explain that.
Wow. And this was a recent case?
Yes.
Yeah, this was a doozy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's time to sit down and rest now, ain't it? Just talking about it.
That's why I said I'm not taking no more cases from anybody else, because this one was handed to us from somebody else too.
I didn't send that one to you. Sorry.
Clara, it sounded like somebody else had the same idea over your bait.
You didn't use bait.
Yeah.
I
But
think
what
maybe
was so, not only did he have these negative energies attaching themselves to him, he was schizophrenic. And he was so bad schizophrenic that he had to go once a week to get injections because the medication that he took, he couldn't take orally. So I think that's what allowed the negative energies to have such a hold on him, was his mental illness.
Sure. I have to agree with that. Absolutely. I think cases like that is the reason that we have become paranormal investigators.
Yes.
We joke and we have fun and that type of thing, but when it gets right down to it, we're serious about our job.
Yeah.
And serious about the well-being of other people. That's the reason we put ourselves at risk in every possible way that you possibly can, mentally, physically, spiritually. When you step into a situation like that, it's totally unknown. I mean, people can just go berserk. They can physically hurt. And I've read of paranormal investigators being physically injured by what you would call a demonic entity that has inhabited a person. I try not to say the word possessed, simply because, very, very few cases actually end up being possessed.
Yeah.
Not according to Zach Baggins.
I knew you were going to bring that up, Nathan. I knew it.
No comment.
But I will say that this last case we did is the first time I've ever experienced mental illness and paranormal together. Usually there are times that you can dismiss the paranormal for mental illness, like the Greys running around everywhere turned out to be mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
But this case, I could actually see it was paranormal and mental illness. It was both.
Wow. And then, of course, like you said, you feel like the paranormal is just kind of feeding off the mental illness.
Yes.
Things that are being allowed by this person started with the mental illness. And,
I mean, this guy would get up off his chair and start stepping over stuff that wasn't there. And he said there was an octopus in his floor.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. I mean, he was mentally ill. He really was. And it was really very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes,
it
is.
Dangerous for us because he openly admitted that he was told by God that he needed to kill his mother and kill his sister-in-law.
And he had been in a